It's kind of funny. We use Windsurf to generate our code, and then we also use Windsurf to do our code reviews. Windsurf will have written the code, and then I put it up on GitHub, and then Windsurf comments on it. And I'm like, couldn't you just told yourself this earlier?
How are engineers in your company like reacting to that?
Everyone's required to use AI at Merge. So we had our mini Shopify letter moment. It was just like, look, it's an expectation that you're going to use AI, and it's not just for Merge. Like, this is for your own career and your future. We all know where the world is going. So not just in engineering, but across the org, there's a mandate for everyone to be using AI tools.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the AI Speedrun podcast with co-founder and CTO of Merge, Gil Feig. Gil, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Before we get started, do you want to share a little bit about you and the company?
Yes, absolutely. So as you mentioned, I'm co-founder CTO at Merge, and we help companies add hundreds of integrations to their product through a single API. So companies like Ramp, Brex, Navan, some of the biggest banks in the world use Merge to offer these integrations to their customers across a variety of categories. So things like ticketing, CRM, accounting, file storage, HR, so many other ones. What companies will do is integrate once with us. We provide a unified API, so a normalized set of data models, as well as authentication flows that make it easy for their customers to authenticate and then provide their access to their data to our customers to power product features.
Love it. When did you all start?
We started in 2020, right at the beginning of COVID. So about 2-3 months into COVID, which was an interesting time, but actually I would say one of the best because the opportunity cost was super low of working hard.
Love it. I'm going to share my screen now. First question. You ready?
Good to go.
AI has completely transformed our team's velocity. You cannot pick three.
Oh, okay. Man, I'm split between 2 and 4 because it depends on the team. I'm gonna go with 2, but I believe we will be a 4. So net new products. Our team is launching a new product. 90% AI. It is almost entirely built by AI. I would say it has completely transformed how we're building this product. It's made us able to move incredibly quickly. When I think about our bigger product, a lot of the changes are deep. So, we are often syncing data from a platform across 40 workers. And when there's an issue that we need to go in and address, it's maybe 3 lines of code that need to be changed, but they're incredibly difficult to track down and figure out the right way to do them. And so in cases like that, AI can help a bit with the investigation, but ultimately it's not really, changing the outcome significantly. So it really just depends on the task. And if we focused on just our new product agent handler, like that would be a 4 or a 5.
Do you think it's something to do with going back to the part where where you talked about like your old code base, like where for like fixing or investigation it's a little bit helpful, but for I'm guessing like additive work it's like a lot harder. Is that something to do with like how large the code base is and like today's models are not really, or solutions out there not equipped to help people solve that problem?
Yeah, I think it's kind of all of that. I think one, definitely our code base is too big. And we know that because we get shown errors that say, I can't traverse this file or this directory. It's just too big. But I think I will also say, I think that people can improve on their prompting skills. And a lot of engineers tend to see a failure and they're like, oh, it doesn't work. And
yeah, they lose trust, right? It's hard to like move on from there.
And they lose trust. And it's just like if you gave it a better prompt, if you told it, make sure you follow this pattern, here's some hints of files to check out first, it tends to perform a lot better. And so I think it's kind of a mutual learning.
And how was the experience for the new products that you all are launching?
It's absolutely incredible. Like I'm just blown away. And I will say I've gotten better. It's one of those things where, like when I think about when we first started using it, something that would have taken me 2 hours to code took me an hour with AI because I sat there and I kept having to fight with it and be like, no, don't do this. And I was getting mad at it. And I realized like when you tell it, no, don't do it that way, like that doesn't help. You have to tell it exactly what to do next. And people say use specifics. We all know, be specific to it, but there's ways to do it to really be more successful. And I've gotten to the point now I can say where I can probably give it a 100-line prompt and it executes relatively perfectly on a large ask.
Love it. Like what tools are you guys using to do that? Are you using like Cursor, Claude Code? What does it look like?
So we're experimenting with a lot. The one we primarily use is Windsurf, and then just experiment across a bunch of different models.
Very cool. Very cool. Moving on to the next question. Which part of the dev cycle is AI most helpful for?
So code gen, it's incredibly helpful for, especially on the new product.
Hmm.
Code review as well. It's kind of funny. We use Windsurf to generate our code, and then we also use Windsurf to do our code reviews. And sometimes Windsurf will have written the code, and then I put it up on GitHub, and then Windsurf comments on it. And I'm like, couldn't you just told yourself this earlier?
It's
So
funny.
it's kind of funny that connection there. But yeah, it's huge for both of those. But if I had to pick one for now, especially with our new product, it's code gen for sure.
You know, I'm curious about something. Like you talked about the code gen part, like when sort of doing the code review, how are engineers in your company like reacting to that? And are these code reviews, are you using Windstorm code review for old code base or just the new project?
Everything. Everyone's required to use AI at Merge. So we had our mini Shopify letter moment. We didn't quite go as extreme as
Not a
you're
public memo.
yeah, not a public memo, no fear of it leaking because there wasn't anything in there that we were afraid of, right? It was just like, look, it's an expectation that you're going to use AI, and it's not just for Merge. Like this is for your own career and your future. We all know where the world is going.
Hmm.
So we started doing that. We started enforcing it. We're going to eventually put it in performance reviews, but not in this cycle. We want to give people time to really learn and grow, and I think give people tips and enable everyone. But we have a lot of theories on why people don't use AI, which I would be happy to go into. But I think we kind of drove at those head on, and that helped get the team really excited about it. So not just in engineering, but across the org, there's a mandate for everyone to be using AI tools.
Outside of engineering, as a founder of the company, do you see um, like some sort of like unexpected like teams taking really advantage of AI and like working really well for them?
So recruiting, very powerful. If you think recruiting is very, in a lot of ways, it's analogous to sales, right? You have this sort of outbound and inbound motion. You have pipeline. And it's been good for monitoring pipeline. But number one, it's just really great for top of funnel and sourcing.
Mm.
Really good at outbounding, really good at profile identification, and not just spamming, but truly finding people that are a good fit for the company. So we've been using it heavily there. And then also for sales outbound, I think what we're finding for sales outbound is that it's still a bit early, and we're not necessarily getting heavily targeted messages that, scream open me to someone who gets 100 sales outbounds a day. So it's good for bulk volume, but for sales, we don't find it to be as effective as still kind of, I would say maybe we could say human driven account based marketing with AI assisting writing some of the messaging when given an outline, for example.
For someone who's listening to this podcast who hasn't really worked in like recruiting or sales, when you talk about outbound, it seems really similar. But I'm curious, why is it working well for recruiting but not for sales?
In sales and recruiting, there's kind of analogies for everything. And so in recruiting, you have executive talent would be equivalent to like an enterprise company, right? If you're automating outbounds to an enterprise company, it's very unlikely you're going to be able to get in the door. You really have to build relationships and all of that. And it's the same for executive recruiting. So you can't just send someone who's, been CEO of a 1,000 person company for 10 years an email that's like, your experience looks great. I'd really be excited. Like that's just not how executive recruiting works. It's very relationship driven. And if you are cold outbounding, which is unlikely, you're writing a very detailed like thing that will call out to them based off their writings and other things. And AI is just not great at that yet. So recruiting. It's good because we're hiring a lot of non exec talent. We're hiring across the board, but a lot of non exec as well. Whereas in sales, it's similar. Like it is pretty effective for velocity or sort of down market customers, where we can just bulk spam outbound, kind of send generic ones. They know what they need, their problems are. But for enterprise companies, it's just not as effective, and that's where we're pretty focused right now is closing enterprise.
That is such a good answer. I love the analogy between outbounding to enterprise customers and how it's similar to when recruiting outbounding to executives. Like that
Yeah,
makes so much sense.
yeah.
Moving on to the next question. AI has changed what engineering skills we hire for.
No threes allowed.
No, no trees allowed.
It's a two. It's a two because ultimately we're early and we don't hire for skills as much as we hire for drive and care. And yeah, I think we have good examples of that. We have people here who have become AI experts who have built kind of robust AI systems emerge just by doing tons of research and watching podcasts and reading and talking to AI to help figure out how to use it. So I would say it hasn't changed the skills we hire for. It has changed what we look for when we talk to candidates, just making sure that they're excited about AI, they want to learn, they want to grow in that sense.
That makes sense. I'm gonna move to our final question of the day. What's the weirdest way your team has used AI so far?
I'll give two. So one's
Sure.
funny, one's a little bit more serious, but I was like, why? Okay. So one of them is we have email signatures, and for years we've struggled to get them right across the company. Some people's images don't load, some people stretch the logo, like all this weird stuff happens. And one day someone on our team was like, hey guys, I built a web app that lets you generate a signature. You just put in your name, your phone number, whatever, and then you can copy paste it into Gmail. And I'm like, you did what? You built it, you built an app to help people create a signature. And then I saw like he made it all with Lovable. It took him like 10 minutes and it's super effective and everyone uses it. All of our signatures match.
Love it.
So I think that was just like a cool one.
Yeah, you
Um,
don't expect something like that to happen. Yeah.
no, it's just, you would never waste the time to build an app for that. So
Anything in like in your personal life that you have used that's a little bit like out of the ordinary?
let's see. So here's a good one. So I was traveling with my dad. I'm very into watches, and we went to a conference in Switzerland, the world's biggest watch conference. And I didn't really understand like our hotel. I thought it was only 5 minutes from the thing, and it actually wasn't. It was really far, and I'm trying to figure it out. And ChatGPT tells me like, no, you accidentally booked a hotel in France. You're gonna have to cross the border. You're gonna have to do all of this stuff. And I'm freaking out. I'm with my dad. You know, he's older, and it was just like I was like I caused this whole ordeal, and it helped us solve everything. It helped us decide if we needed to find a new hotel, figure out if there was public transit, how much it would be to find a car. It presented all the options. It just solved the problem. So I think what's cool is like it makes problems non-problems anymore. One other fun thing I'll share, by the way, is we had we call them integration poetry slams, where we do poetry slams about the integrations we connect with. They're all perfect. There are no bugs. There's no issues with any of these APIs. They're beautiful. But AI has a way to help write these sometimes that make them just some of the funniest. So it definitely can make company events more fun too.
That's awesome. Gil, thank you so much for sharing. Before you go, like how do people find you on the internet?
Yeah, my Twitter is Gil Feig. Feel free to follow me there. Connect with me on LinkedIn, and then also, of course, check out Merge. It's just merge.dev.
Do you want to give any like call outs to like Merge's recent like releases or products you all launch or anything upcoming that you want to share with our audience?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've been helping power recently. We power integrations for all types of companies, Fortune 500s, banks, but we've been really helping power also a lot of AI use cases. So enterprise search, things that let you connect all of your data sources and perform search across all of them. And so we rolled out our knowledge base category recently. So that includes Confluence, Notion, a bunch of others. We'll be rolling out there as well. And then we are also launching a product. By the time this is released, it'll be launched called Agent Handler. And this product makes it really easy for your agents to add tons of integrations easily. So think of it as plug and play, add a ton of connectors to your agents, auth manage for your customers so they can authenticate, and then utilize their integrations to power any use cases within your UI, your agents.
Love it. Thank you for sharing that. Gil, it was awesome. Thanks for jamming with us.
Thanks so much for having me. Appreciate it.